Hello everyone and welcome. Before we get started with today's yin class, take the opportunity to grab all the props that you have available to you. I'm using a bolster, 2 blocks, and a couple of blankets, but you can always substitute with more blankets and maybe some pillows or a cushion from your couch. Just whatever you have laying around. And if you don't have any props, that's perfectly fine. I'll make sure to offer different options and alternatives so that way you find something that not only suits your body but also suits whatever props that you have available. So today's class will focus on shoulders. So many of the poses will either be just primarily shoulders or traditional yin poses with a variation that targets our shoulder region. So our first pose will be reclining butterfly with cow face arms. And there's many ways that you can do this. I will be doing the restorative version. So you'll take 1 block on the medium height at the back of your mat, 1 block on the short height directly in front of it, and then your bolster will just ramp down from there. If you don't have blocks, you can just lay your bolster flat, or you can stack pillows or your couch cushion. You'll sit up against the bolster, making sure that you can feel the bolster along your tailbone, and then you'll recline on down. But we will do a variation with cow face arms. And if you do not have any props, then you can just do this flat on your back. But for the arm variation, take your right forearm and wrap it around your low back. Try to either touch the middle of your back with your right hand, or you can take your right hand all the way to the left side of your waist. And before we add our left arm, you'll slowly recline on down, either onto your bolster, pillows, or the floor. Take your left arm, reach it towards the back wall, bend your left elbow, and place your left hand either behind your neck or a little bit lower than the base of your neck. Your elbow will point back. And then you'll place the soles of your feet together and let your knees come apart for a butterfly. If you're feeling any tension or resistance within your hips or knees, come out of the pose, release your arms, and place any extra props underneath your thighs to give them support, and then come back into the arm position and lay back. If butterfly is not comfortable at all, even with props, you can do cross-legged with one shin in front of the other. Or you can just have your feet flat, knees bent, and just focus on the shoulders. And if either of the positions with your arms are too intense, then you can go ahead and release. And another alternative is to reach your arms towards the sky. Let each hand grab the opposite elbow, and then your forearms can either rest on your forehead, you can rest them on top of your head, or you can let them fall back. We will hold this shoulder position for 2 minutes, and then we will switch to the other side for another 2 minutes. So if you're doing butterfly, that'll be 4 minutes total. And if you're doing cross-legged, you'll just switch the other shin in front when we do the other side with our arms. So once you have come into your shape and you've made your adjustments, start to maybe close your eyes or soften your gaze and turn your attention inwards. Notice the gentle flow of the breath moving in and out of your nostrils. Notice where the breath travels to and where you feel the breath physically. Notice what expands, what rises as you inhale, and what softens as you exhale. And then start to notice the physical body. Notice the sensations that you're feeling within the pose. Notice where you're feeling them. Maybe even describe the sensations that you're feeling. And see if you can describe them in a way that is non-judgmental. It doesn't indicate good or bad, but simply sees the sensation for what it is. So we have about a few breaths left. And always know that in these postures, even though we're holding for time, know that you do not have to stay in the pose the entire time. So you can view my instruction as simply suggestion. and ultimately listen to the cues and the signals that your body is giving you. If you were doing the cow face arm variation, slowly undo your top arm, and then slowly undo your legs, feet to the floor, knees up, and then roll to the left side. Undo your right arm, and with both hands, press yourself up to a seat. Take a moment to pause, and then we'll go to the other side. So left forearm around your low back, either hand to the middle of your back or to the other side of your waist. And then slowly recline back onto your prop or the floor. And then you will add the right arm, right hand behind your neck or slightly lower than your neck, and your elbow will point towards the back wall. Put your legs back into the position that you did last time, either butterfly, or if you did cross-legged, do the opposite shin in front. And if you're taking the alternative variation with your arms, simply undo them and have the opposite forearm on top. And then we will hold for another 2 minutes. And just notice how this side may feel different from the other side. Notice where those differences are, whether they're subtle or not so subtle. So we're here for a few more breaths, but remember that if you need to release the pose early, do so. Some signs that our body will give us if we need to release the pose can be pins and needles, extreme sensations of heat or coolness, tingling, falling asleep. These are all body cues that we can take and observe, and whenever they arise, release the pose. Maybe just take a breath or two out of the shape to let the blood flow come back in and then come back in. Or maybe we release and just rest for the remainder of the time. Take a slow inhale and exhale. If you're doing cow face arms, release your right arm first. If you're doing the alternative, release that altogether. Slowly draw your knees together, feet on the floor, and then everyone roll to the right side. Undo your left arm if you have cow face, and then use both arms to press you up to a seat. And in your seat, just pause for a few breaths, rebounding, noticing any new sensations arising in your shoulders and or hips. For our next shape, we will make our way onto our belly. Feel free to pad up your hips with a blanket. From your belly, take your arms out to a T with your hands shoulder level or slightly higher. Bring your legs together and bend your knees. Walk your hands to your right shoulder and then press from your right hand to roll off to the left side. Your feet will fall to the left. This is option 1, open wing. If this is too intense for your shoulders or your chest, then you can come into Sphinx pose, elbows underneath your shoulders with your forearms parallel or hands interlaced. And if you cannot be on your belly for any reason, you can either take puppy pose from hands and knees. You'll walk your hands forward, Lower your forearms to the floor and then lower your chest to the ground. Or you can take wide-legged child's pose, maybe with a block underneath each elbow to elevate your arms. Maybe bringing your palms into prayer and lifting them up for dolphin arms. So if you're doing open wing, you'll do it for 2 minutes on each side. If you're doing Sphinx, puppy pose, or child's pose, then you will do that for a full 4 minutes. And once you arrive in your shape, just start to notice sensation in your body. Notice the breath. So the practice of yin is just another form of mindfulness meditation. Because of the nature of the yin, holding the postures and finding stillness, it allows us an opportunity to focus in on how we observe the mind. So just like we're observing our body sensations and we're observing our breath, we're also observing the fluctuations of the mind, noticing the thoughts coming in and out, and trying to maintain that sense of observance rather than reacting to our thoughts, creating storylines or analyzing. You can think of the practice of watching your thoughts like watching clouds up in the sky, noticing them as they come by, and then letting them pass from your vision so you make space for the next one. If you're in Sphinx, puppy pose, or child's pose, just continue to stay. If you are in open wing, slowly roll onto your belly and your chest. Extend your right arm out to the side. Walk your left hand towards your left shoulder, and then press into your left hand to roll to the right. And if you're in Sphinx pose and you would like to experience more sensation, then you can elevate your forearms and elbows on blocks, or you can press into your hands and straighten out your arms for seal pose. So beyond the physical sensations, notice if maybe there are any emotions arising, or maybe the sensations are coming from an emotional place. We hold a lot of tension in our shoulders, and they may come from physical activities or habitual movement patterns, but they can also come from feelings of holding the weight of the world. Our shoulders can be positioned in ways that indicate we're being protective of our heart space, protective of our emotions, not wanting to let ourselves be open or vulnerable. So as you continue to observe and maybe notice emotions arising, or maybe you gain insight as to where the sensations are coming from that emotional level, give yourself some compassion, some loving kindness, and know that it is perfectly okay to feel any emotion. Know that you are in a safe space, that you can soften, and that you can be vulnerable here. If you are in open wing or seal or sphinx, slowly lower yourself down onto your belly and your chest. Stack your hands underneath your forehead and just let your elbows go out for crocodile. Rest here. If you took puppy pose or child's pose, you can come to tabletop and take some cat-cows as your rebound. So for our next shape, you can either do closed wings on your belly, Or from tabletop, you can do twisted child's pose. Sometimes I like to call it thread the needle. So from your belly, you'll take your elbows underneath your shoulders like in Sphinx, each hand to the opposite elbow, one forearm in front, and then you'll walk your hands out till your arms cross at the center, and you'll either rest your chin or the side of your head on your top arm. For option 2, from tabletop, press down from your right hand, reach your left arm out to the side and up, and then exhale, thread your left arm underneath your right. You'll rest on your left shoulder and the left side of your head. So whichever variation you're doing, breathe as if you can breathe into the back space of your shoulders, the space between your shoulder blades. I like to refer to this area as the back door to the heart space. We're about halfway through. Make any adjustments that you need. If you need to come out of the pose early or just come out to take a breath or two, feel free to do so. And then just continue to observe your body, observe your breath, observe the thoughts, and maybe observe any emotions that may be arising from the pose. Take a deep inhale and exhale. If you are in closed wings on your belly, start to walk your hands back to center. Switch forearms so the opposite is in front, and then walk your hands back out. If you are in thread the needle or twisted child's pose, use your right hand to press you back up. And then left hand down, right arm out to the side and up, inhale. And exhale, thread it through, rest on your right shoulder and the right side of your head. We're about halfway through. If any thoughts are pulling your attention away from the present moment, maybe they're moving you into the past, moving you towards the future, notice it. And then just use that observance of your body sensations, your breath, and your thoughts to bring you back to the present. Slowly start to come out of your pose. If you are in closed wings, just come back to crocodile, hands stack underneath your forehead, elbows out. If you are in twisted child's pose or thread the needle, just make your way to child's pose, hips to heels, knees out wide, and either arms forward or by your sides. And just take a moment to pause and observe. And then for our next pose, we will make our way onto a seat. And we will take seated figure 4 with a shoulder stretch. So bend your knees to 90-degree angles and set your feet down. You'll walk your hands behind you 2 or 3 handprints, and either your fingertips can face out, back, or they can face forward. Cross your right ankle over your left knee or thigh for that figure 4 shape. And then just from here, adjust. You can either walk your left foot closer to bring your legs closer. That'll be more intense. Or you can walk your foot further away to make it less intense. And then you'll roll your shoulders back, lift your chest up towards the ceiling. And you can either keep your chin level to your chest, lift your chin up slightly, or if it feels safe, you can let your head drop back. So we will hold the shoulder stretch for a few more breaths, and then we will come out of it and either go to square, double pigeon, or figure 4 on your back. Carefully level out your head and chin if you dropped your head back any amount. And then start to walk your left foot over to the right side of your mat, and either your right shin will stack on top of your left shin for double pigeon, or you'll scoot your right shin in front of your left shin for square pose. Adjust your legs so that way your knees are a little bit closer together and your feet are a little bit further apart. And then you'll fold forward from here. The other alternative is to keep your figure 4 and just make your way onto your back and hold onto the back of your left thigh as you pull your legs in towards your chest. If you are doing the forward fold, feel free to prop yourself up any way that you like. I personally like to take blocks underneath my elbows. Sometimes I will stack blocks on the floor and rest my forehead on those. And you can let your back round and just let your head drop. And just let your upper body be heavy as you soften through your hips. From an energetic standpoint, our shoulders, which is connected to our neck by way of the trapezius muscle, can influence the throat chakra, or the Vishuddha chakra, which is an energetic center that sits at the base of the neck. And this energy center governs our ability to communicate and to speak and express our truth. Often we associate our shoulders with the heart center, but our shoulders, you can think of it as the bridge between the throat chakra and the heart chakra. When we hold tension in our shoulders, it can influence the Vishuddha chakra by making it hard for us to communicate, making it hard for us to express ourselves through words and actions. But when this energetic center is in balance, energized or cleared, we can then communicate clearly, articulate our opinions, our feelings, and we're able to express ourselves using that innate creative energy within. If you're in the forward fold, slowly walk yourself back up. You'll walk your hands behind you, set your feet to the floor, knees up, and windshield wiper your knees. If you went to your back for figure 4, just release, feet to the ground, and windshield wiper. If you are on your back, make your way up to a seat for seated figure 4 on the other side. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh or knee. You'll walk your hands behind you with your fingertips facing out forward or back. And then you can walk your legs a little bit closer towards your body or take your legs further away. Once you found your position, roll your shoulders back. Pressing lightly from your hands, lift your chest up towards the ceiling, and then position your head any way that you like. And just continue to observe and breathe. Slowly level your head. If you're taking square or double pigeon, start to walk your right foot over to the left side of your mat and either stack your left shin over right shin or stack your left shin in front of your right shin. Scoot your knees closer together and your feet a little bit further apart. If you're taking figure 4 on your back, just start to make your way down and hold onto your right leg. And if you're taking double pigeon or square pose, take a deep inhale, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, walk your hands forward and fold. Feel free to let your back round and support yourself with whatever props you have available to you. If you would like to bring more awareness and attention to that throat chakra center that I talked about in the last side, then as you focus on your neck space, imagine that there lies within a single point of light, and the color of that light is blue. And as you're breathing, imagine that you're breathing energy into that light to brighten it. And then as you exhale, the light stays just as bright, but just simply softens within its edges and glow. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. If you are working on that light visualization, stick with it. If not, just continue to notice your breath, notice the body sensations, and just notice the traffic of your thoughts. Take a slow inhale and exhale. If you're in the forward fold, start to walk your hands back up towards you. If you are on your back, release the figure four. And then take a windshield wiper with your knees, whether seated or on your back. If you are on your back, make your way up to a seat once more. Our next pose will be caterpillar pose or seated forward fold. So straighten your legs out in front of you, either together or slightly apart. If you hold a little bit more tension in your knees, hamstrings, or low back, you can ease out of that tension by placing a rolled up blanket or towel underneath your knees. And if you have a bolster or a couple of pillows, place that lengthwise along your legs. And then you'll walk your hands forward, round your back, and just fold towards your prop or towards your legs. And just let yourself completely surrender in the shape. So you don't have to hold on to anything with your arms. You don't have to pull yourself forward. You don't have to actively flex your feet or engage your thigh muscles. And just simply let yourself soften with your breath. Feel free to just simply observe in the pose itself, or if you would like to bring in that light visualization, imagining that there is a blue point of light resting at the center of your neck and the base of your throat. Just breathing into it. Every inhale, it grows brighter, shining that truth and purity within. We're about halfway through the pose. Make any adjustments as needed. If you need to add props or take props away, feel free to do so. And if you're working with the visualization, stick with it. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And lift your head, elongate your spine, and slowly walk yourself up. Go ahead and remove your props off to the side. Free up your legs and give them a little shimmy and shake. And then we'll slowly make our way to our back. We have one more pose before we head into our final one. Once you're on your back, take your props, your bolster, your pillows, or even just a block, and place that off to the left side of your hips. And then draw your right knee to your chest and glide your right leg all the way over to the left onto that prop. From here, option one, just take your right arm out to a T, maybe goalposts, or you can just let your right arm rest down by your sides for a traditional reclining twist. Option two, bend your left knee, and with your right hand, catch your left foot for a cat catching its tail. With these two variations, let your right shoulder and right shoulder blade be heavy towards the floor, so you're opening from your chest, and adjust your left shoulder as needed to help your chest be a little bit more flat and level to the floor. If twisting is not an optimal position for your spine, you can take banana asana. So you'll straighten your legs out to the front, reach your arms towards the back, and then walk your feet, shoulders, and hands to the left. And you'll still get some sensation through your right armpit and right shoulder joint. But whichever variation you are, just settle in and come into your breath. If you are taking cat catching its tail or the reclining twist, just notice if at any point in time your right shoulder starts to feel tingly, numb, or maybe it starts to fall asleep. And if that happens, just gently release the pose. Take some gentle arm movement to encourage some blood flow and circulation, and then come back into it. And if you're focusing on the light visualization, come right back in, visualizing that blue point of light, representing that truth, that essence of who you are. We're about halfway through, so make any adjustments as needed. If you'd like to switch up the variation, maybe you're just doing the traditional reclining twists and you'd like to catch your left foot for the quad stretch, or maybe you're doing cat catching its tail and you need to give your left quad a break or your right shoulder a break, so you let it go. Slowly release your shape, and we'll rebound in a mini shavasana, legs long out in front of you and arms by your sides. Take a moment to breathe, Notice if there's any difference between the sides. And then we'll move into the other side. So take your prop and place it off to the right side of your hips. And then you'll draw your left knee to your chest. You'll glide your left knee to that prop. And then either left arm goes out to the side for a traditional twist, or you can bend your right knee and catch your right foot with left hand for cat catching its tail. And again, the other alternative is banana asana. So legs forward, arms back, and you'll walk your hands, shoulders, and feet to the right. Take your time settling in, making adjustments. And then when you've found that space, allow yourself to be still. Breathe into the stillness and observe. We're about halfway. Again, make any adjustments, change up the variation, and always remember that if you need to release the pose early, please do so. Take a deep inhale and exhale. Slowly and carefully release your shape. Come back to center in a mini shavasana. Legs out front, arms by your sides, and just simply observe. And then from here, we will make our way to our final pose of ease and stillness, Shavasana. I always suggest something underneath your knees, something underneath your head, and something over your body. So utilize whatever props that you have available to you. And if there's any other shape that you'd like to take, any position with your arms and your legs, I invite you to take that. But once you found your shape, take any last minute adjustments to settle in. And then close your eyes. And then please take a slow, nourishing breath in. A soft, cleansing breath out through your mouth. And then just allow the breath to be natural. Allow all effort to go and just simply enjoy rest. If you would like to stay in Shavasana a little bit longer, I invite you to either hit the pause button or you can mute the video and let the video finish out and rest as long as you need. Otherwise, invite a slow, deep breath in and a soft exhale. Bring some gentle movement back into your fingers, your toes. Circle out through your ankles and wrists. A gentle tilt of your head from left to right. And then draw your knees into your chest, roll to one side or the other, and from there press yourself up to find a seat. And draw your hands at your heart center, thumbs lightly pressing up against your sternum. And bow your head down towards yourself, acknowledging your effort, your energy, giving yourself gratitude for showing up for yourself today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave a comment, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so that way you know when free yoga is up. And if you know anybody that could use some more yoga in their life, I invite you to share this video as well as my channel with them. And as always, have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.